It's Wednesday, April 12, 2023. Pretty interesting day today. Markets across the board down. Markets are beginning to realize that we are entrenched now with inflation, that the economy is entrenched. They're telling us that the numbers we got today are better than expected. That's the good news. But the problem is we are nowhere near getting inflation down to 2%. Inflation rises just 0.1% in March and 5% from a year ago. Now, our core CPI was up 5.6% from a year ago. And we're looking at an economy now where we're being told that we have record low unemployment. We have a very, very tight labor market. We have inflation coming down, even though we're never going to get close to 2%. The Fed has been raising rates, and they're going to continue to raise rates. Raising rates while expanding the balance sheet, they're telling us that they're not expanding it, but we know that they are. Tight labor market, 3.4% unemployment, and we still have record-breaking inflation. They're trying to tell you and I that it's better than expected, that it's getting better, that these numbers were better than expected, so that's the great news. Problem is they're much, much higher than they were a year ago, and the average person's real wages are going down. So this, while we head deeper into this recession, and as Peter Schiff and so many say, you better not worry about a recession, you better begin to worry about a depression. And yes, of course, many of these numbers as far as what's happening in housing, unemployment, inflation, core CPI, all this, the numbers are so manipulated. Who knows what to believe at this point? This economy is dead on arrival, and they're in very, very big trouble. Here's one from CNBC today. Fed expects banking crisis to cause a recession this year. This during the Fed minutes today. We have a Fed that can't even admit that we're in a recession right now. Yet they were the ones that told us this was all transitory. Janet Yellen years ago told us that we would never see an economic downturn in our lifetime, and we're seeing a real doozy of a downturn right now. So everything that they've told us, they've been wrong about. And to tell us right now that, oh, they said it's going to be a mild recession, so don't worry. It's going to be far from a mild recession, because by the time they tell you and I that we're in a recession, we will be in a depression. So I also thought, well, very interesting here, in this article, so none of us have to worry, because Fed Vice Chair for Supervision, Michael Barr, said that the banking sector is sound and resilient. Another lie. Didn't we have multiple banks just a few weeks ago collapse, where the Fed had to come in and inject $500 billion into the banking system? But don't worry, today everything's fine, because Chair Michael Barr said that the banking sector is sound and resilient, so nothing to worry about. Gold up today, silver up today, markets down today. I don't know. I mean, who knows? These markets are so manipulated, but gold and silver definitely is beginning to realize something's going on. There's uncertainty. There is now the realization of a world war coming. Heaven forbid. The new BRICS nations and their new currency, the new world reserve currency talks, countries now using their own currencies to buy and sell. Just the whole thing is so uncertain. And you have this whole China-Taiwan episode taking place now that is beginning to heat up. There's so much happening. And gold and silver knows that something's going on, that inflation is much worse than they're telling us. There's global uncertainty. There's geopolitical uncertainty. There's economic uncertainty. Currency uncertainty. There's just so much uncertainty, ladies and gentlemen. You have to be protecting your money with the two most undervalued assets on planet Earth, gold and silver. This is really getting extremely concerning. But before we talk about some of these global events, billionaire CEO sounds alarm on food and gas prices spiking. He says inflation is not going down. John Castamatidis, I know I'm mispronouncing that Catasamitis of Red Apple Group, sorry about butchering that name, but he said that we're being told that food prices are coming down, but he's saying that food prices are going up. He said everything is going up. He says the price of gas is up 22 cents from a month ago. The price of oil is going up. No food executive, he says, is going to cut food prices knowing that oil prices are going up. So due to the fact that food is transported on ships and trucks and trains, to deliver food, the cost is going to go up. To operate farming equipment, it's running on gas and diesel, and prices of that is going up. And so that's going to be passed on to your food prices. So I'm reading articles today that are telling me that don't worry, food prices are coming down, we're getting some relief, that's the great news. But then you have the CEO of Red Apple Group here telling you that not only is food going up, everything is going up. And when you have oil prices going up, it's going to be passed on to your food prices. Now, getting into something very, very concerning here. U.S. Special Forces in Ukraine at embassy. Official confirms as Pentagon document leak probe heats up. So this was leaked, another leak, and no surprise. I'd seen some videos months ago where we had soldiers already in Ukraine, but it's saying here that we have special forces. The UK has special forces. We are getting very, very involved here into a very, very hot war here. And this is a very big problem. First off, we have unloaded so much ammunition to Ukraine. We have used up so much of our strategic petroleum reserves. We are in no position to be entering a world war, ladies and gentlemen. We are not prepared as a people. We are not prepared with the right equipment, the ammunition, the oil. We better get our nose out of this very, very quickly. We are in no condition to be starting a fight with anybody right now. We have so many problems right here. And don't forget, this country is bankrupt. We're $35.5 trillion in debt. You add unfunded liabilities, Medicare, Medicaid, we're looking at about $170 trillion of debt. We are a bankrupt nation. And as we're sending money over to other countries, now we're going to send human beings over there on top of it. This is going to be a real mess, and this is escalating the whole thing. This is going to push China into Taiwan. They know that we're weak. They know that we're running out of oil, running out of ammunition because we've been sending it all over to Ukraine already. They know that we're broke. And all China has to do is just stop shipping products to America, cut us off from pharmaceuticals. We're in trouble. They're going to take over Taiwan. That's going to be 60% of the chips, the high-end chips in the world. So they will have a monopoly on high-end chips. You know, things that we need for our military, for our planes, for our computers, again, for our military, for our defenses are coming from Taiwan. They take Taiwan, it's going to cripple us. It's going to cripple us militarily, and we're going to be crippled financially just by the trade that goes on. We don't make things here. We are dependent on our medicines from places like China. We're dependent on all those shelves at Walmart. They're 90% plus, all coming from China. We depend on that cheap labor. We depend on printing money out of thin air for that cheap labor, for those cheap products to come over here. But this was interesting here. China said this, that they will smash Taiwan independence and foreign interference attempts. That's concerning. That's scary. And this is all taking place while our administration is over, I believe, in Ireland, looking at castles, taking a field trip on the taxpayer's ticket, or the taxpayer's dole, dime, whatever you want to call it, over there on a field trip looking at castles. And I'm not sitting here to get political. I'm not taking sides. But this is concerning. This country is really putting itself into jeopardy. When you're sending so much ammunition, when you're sending so much oil or draining those oil reserves to put into the market to push oil prices down because you don't want to pump oil, you don't want to open up the pipelines. This is a national defense issue right now. This is about national security, and we are weakening ourselves. So as all this is taking place, some people now are thinking about leaving the country. Somebody wrote to me yesterday, maybe I should leave the country and get out of here. The question is, where would you go? Comment down below. Where would you go? Personally, I'm not planning on going anywhere. This is my country. I love this country. I plan on staying here. And one thing I think that everybody has to really be aware of is if you move to another country, things might be okay right now, but eventually they may not like Americans too much. When you look at I don't know, what is it, 1,800 military bases we put all over the world, the weaponization of the dollar, the massive amount of inflation that we've caused all over the world now that is really hurting the emerging countries and the emerging markets. The creation that we have created is hurting smaller, weaker nations because of us. All the printing of US dollars giving us so much control, and again, the weaponization of the dollar and allowing us to really be bullies around the world, to push our weight around and make countries do exactly what we tell them to do, or they can't use dollars. They can't buy and sell goods and services without those dollars. We will basically strangle you because we won't let you have dollars. We won't let you use dollars. Again, it's the weaponization. So we're going to see so many countries switch away from the US dollar for settling their national trade. A tsunami of dollars at some point is going to come back to America, and this is going to be a huge problem. This is going to cause hyperinflation. And, you know, people will ask, you know, well, so what about de-dollarization? What is that what does that have to do with me? Well, it's going to have a lot to do, because when those dollars that previously were held in foreign central banks, when those central banks send them back to America, when other countries settle in their own international currencies, that means those dollars come back. That means we're going to be flooded with dollars, and that means you have hyperinflation. And countries will no longer need US dollars. They will use their own currencies, or they will use a new world reserve currency. So what it will do is, when you go to the store and you want to go get a sandwich, a cheese and ham sandwich will cost you $30. That's what de-dollarization is going to do to America. And people who are completely in a coma, delusional, walking around like zombies, have no idea. They are going to be joining a very large homeless population. And the standard of living in America is going to absolutely fall, while the standard of living in other countries is going to rise. Because again, we print money out of thin air and we buy cheap products. People that actually take labor and make things, physically make things, we take advantage of that by printing money, worthless money, and send it to them. And they send us back their labor. They send us back their products. And I think the world really has a lot of resentment now for that, that they're working, making cheap goods and products for America, while America, all they have to do is print money out of thin air, while these people sweat and bleed making cheap products for Americans who spend money they don't have, where money is just printed out of thin air or it's digits on a screen. It's really pathetic. And I think the world it cannot wait for a change. And it's sad. And it's very sad. I don't get any satisfaction out of this, because I'm going to be a victim of this too. This is going to affect me too. This means we're going to see more social destruction, more crime, higher prices, and the standard of living for everybody going down. And this is why I'm so adamant that all of you are putting away some gold, putting away some silver, getting the debts paid down, and buying hard assets and getting ready for this, because the de-dollarization has begun and the world can't wait to do it. America is delusional if it thinks that its friends are not going to do this. Look at France already with a 6-hour meeting with Xi Jinping in China, already saying that we don't want to be part of this World War III. And they're already talking about using the yuan, another currency besides the dollar. Our friends will leave us because they don't want to be left behind. They are looking, they see the weakening of this country. They're going to look at China as the next world superpower, the leader, the biggest banks, the biggest military, the biggest economy, strong leadership. And look, I'm no fan of China at all, but look at where this is going. And you can sit here and you can say it's never going to happen. You can ignore reality, but it's happening right now. Look at Brazil, look at Mexico, look at India, look at Russia, look at Iran. All these nations are all talking and working out deals. Look at France, the most recent. It's just gonna continue to get bigger and bigger. It's gonna be an avalanche of countries dumping dollars and going to China. TheEconomicCollapse.com, where you don't want to be when things finally start hitting the fan. And I just touched on this a little while ago. If you're an American, with all of this taking place, with all the dollar weaponization, all the wars, all the military bases, I don't think you're gonna be liked too much. I really don't, with all the damage that we've caused, again, now with the inflation tsunami affecting all these emerging markets. I think the world is not going to treat Americans too well. They might treat you well right now, but down the road, I don't think they're going to. And they realize that we financed all this with fake money. We took advantage of the world with fake money. So be prepared if you are thinking about leaving the country. Please comment down below. Are you thinking about leaving the country? Where would you go? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it would be safe? I don't think it would be. I really don't. You may be safe in another country right now, but down the road, with everything that's going to happen here in America, I think that America is going to be blamed for huge, huge financial disasters that they caused, wars, war crimes. I think America is really going to be judged here. But that doesn't mean that, you know, there might be a better state here in America to move to. Me personally, I'm moving to the South, getting out of here. How many people right now are having that conversation with family members about maybe leaving their state? Maybe you're here in California. Are you thinking about leaving the state of California? Maybe you're in Illinois. Maybe you're in New York. Maybe you're who knows where. Where are you at? Let us know. And are you thinking about leaving? Will you stay? But I think we're seeing a big exodus from California and many states that resemble California, an exodus of people leaving and getting out for better opportunity and lower taxes. And I am going to be one of those people. But, you know, are you going to go to a small town? Would you go to a farm? Would you move out in the middle of the desert? Where would you go? What are you looking at? Just a nice suburb somewhere? Where are you going? Please comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on that. But I think wherever it is, I think you're going to have a better chance than a place like California, where it is just unbelievable what they are passing here, the taxation, the laws. It's incredible. And I think we're going to see an absolute flood at some point in some of these states where people are literally just leaving everything behind and running out and just getting out. So I'm going to leave it there today. Comment down below on anything you want. Where are you moving? Are you moving? Are you moving out of the country? Are you staying in the country? Let us know what you're doing. I would love to know personally. But it's scary, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting really close, and I pray that it's avoided. I don't like war. I wish this war with Ukraine and Russia would come to an end right now, but it's escalating. Now we have American troops over there. The UK has troops over there. We got China now surrounding Taiwan with war games and some very, very serious threatening, aggressive talk with what they plan on doing. So buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. You need to be preparing mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. This thing could get out of hand very, very quickly. Gold and silver up again today realizes something's going on. We're going to see a currency war, and we may see a world war all take place at the same time. Be safe. God bless.